Jacinda Ardern.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Police and asks, does she stand by her statement in relation to Budget 2014 that, quote, the police's core operating spending is being maintained?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Police, yes.
Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
Mr. Speaker. Were the Police Association correct when they stated that, quote, police are receiving around $40 million less to do the job than they spent last year? We are no longer frozen, we are going backwards, end quote. If not, what is the difference in output expenses between the two budgets?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, the Association is correct that there is $40 million, which was a result of one-off funding delivered by the government for certain things, and those matters that was funded for was from the Justice Sector Fund to enable a restructuring of HR and finance, the retention of road policing underspend, which helped deliver the lowest road toll in 60 years, the completion of police's deployment to the Solomon Islands, and one-off funding for police to implement the Criminal Procedure Act. But the core operating spending is actually being maintained at $1.46 billion, and there has been no cut at all in the core operating spending or funding.
Supplementary question, Richard Prosser.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister. Will she adopt the New Zealand First policy of minimum double staffing of patrol cars at night, which will see a significant reduction in assaults on our police, or do flat and reducing budgets prevent this?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Well, Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, I don't believe that the Minister would be adopting that, because that would be an operational matter for police. But I can tell the member, and I hope this will assist, that when this has been previously looked at under a previous Minister, it was rejected by police for very sound reasons, which would mean, in fact, that there would be a lot of police unable to actually be able to service areas because of shift requirements, holiday requirements and others. Thank you.
Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
Supplementary question. Was the extra funding from the Justice Sector Fund that the Minister referred to pay for basic human resources proof that she significantly underfunded the police in 2013 and has done so again?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, I'm sorry, the member has misheard. I said that the funding from the Justice Sector Fund was to enable a restructure of HR and finance. That is actually not basic HR work.
Supplementary question, Jamie Lee Ross.
Additional resources has this government provided to police to fight crime and keep our communities safer?
Honourable Judith Collins.
On behalf of the Minister, this government has funded police to recruit an additional 600 police officers, and we have rolled out smartphones and tablets to all frontline officers. This new technology has freed police up from paperwork, got them out onto the street, delivering the equivalent of 354 additional officers, and at 354 additional officers. We have also implemented a new policing model that is focused on preventing crime rather than simply reacting to it, and the results speak for themselves. Over the last 4 years, Mr. Speaker, crime has fallen by over 20%, and the recorded crime rate is the lowest that it has been in a generation. Under the previous government, crime was increasing.
Order. Order. Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
Does she believe responding to crime quickly, good resolution rates and crime prevention have a role to play in keeping crime down? If so, how does Budget 2014 support those initiatives?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Well, Mr. Speaker, clearly they do.
Supplementary question, Richard Prosser.
Speaker, to the Minister. Can she confirm that the police have cut back on the amount of live ammunition allocated to each police officer's annual firearms training to no more than 30 rounds per officer per year because of cost-cutting due to flat budgets? And does she believe this level will provide police with an adequate degree of competency in the use of firearms?
Honourable Judith
Mr.
Collins.
Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, I really wouldn't know about that.
Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
In light of her previous answer, can she confirm that this budget includes a $3.5 million cut to general crime prevention, a $7 million cut to investigations, a $7 million cut to primary response, and a $10 million cut to road policing? And is she seriously telling the public they can expect the same level of service from the police with cuts like that?
Honourable Judith
Mr.
Collins.
Speaker, as I've already said to the member, this government is about results, and the police have shown that by using technology, by having a minister who backs the police and doesn't consistently deride them, as that member would should she ever have the opportunity, that the police can in fact produce results, which means that the recorded crime rate itself is now down to the lowest it's been since 1978, before that member was even born.
Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
In the wake of such significant cuts to the police budget and the risk of increasing operational failures that will affect the public, is she content that, in contrast to that, DPS funding has increased by 63% since she took office?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, I'm sure the member is aware that the way in which police allocate their funding is an operational decision for the Commissioner of Police and is not something undertaken by the Minister. And that member shakes her head, but unfortunately I'm right and she's not.
Order. Order. Question number 9, Joanne Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Tourism.